All right, everybody. It's top 5 countdown movies. And it's the man in the picture. But the parameters I'm using for this one are I am not using John Williams scores. I will not be using any in my thing tonight, and no horror.
I will
It's
not
too
be using
much.
John Williams either.
We know. Well, gentlemen, let's go and get started and go around the horn. And that is number 5. What is your number 5, Dan?
I got it number 5. Clint Mansell from The Fountain. The track is "Death is a Road to Awe." It is the theme that plays when the space tree is in outer space. Clint Mansell is one of my favorite by far. He uses that kind of like digital synth sound that I think is excellent. He also did Drive, by the way, and so he did the part of the score for Drive, and he did another one that was really, really excellent. Anyway, I think that's a great track. The best part is that, like I talked about earlier, the score that he creates for that, and in particular that movement, ties directly in with the movie's themes.
Very nice. Paul, what you got for me for number 5?
Number 5, I mean, I guess counts as horror or sci-fi. However
You can do horror. I put a parameter on mine.
My parameter are just ones that elicit emotion for me. So if I hear that song, I feel some type of emotion immediately. And that's the main title. I can't say his name. I'm bad with pronunciations, but it's from The Thing.
Ennio Morricone.
Morricone, yeah, great. That's a wonderful choice, Paul.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And honestly, on my main list, he was on there because I made a list out. And then what I did, I went and listened to the best soundtracks, though all of them included. And the good, the bad, and the ugly's on there, and that's Morricone as well.
Great, Morricone.
And it's hard to pick because like he was Kill Bill, he was The Thing. Yeah, like he did so many that were just truly amazing.
John Carpenter didn't do his own for The Thing.
I'm not. Honestly, I think he always wanted to work with Morricone, and that was his opus, man. I think he knew that. I think The Thing was like sort of like the one. That's why I think that we could have a whole discussion about like what broke him in Hollywood, but it's still one of the greatest movies of all time.
My favorite Carpenter film is not The Thing, even though I love it. I think it's a perfect film. My favorite Carpenter film is The Fog, which is not a perfect film, but it's my favorite.
I love The Fog. It's a fantastic movie. Great choice. So I chose mine by emotion. I sat down, I closed my eyes, I listened, and whatever I would like mark down what emotion I was having. Seriously, I put like teardrops next to ones that like got me misty and all that shit. So I'm gonna start us off with my number 5, and that was the National Treasure soundtrack. Got my heart racing. I felt really good. It felt really like, I always love those movies. So
is that Zimmer?
That was, I think it was not Zimmer. No, I don't think it was. I have to double check it. But what is your number? What's your number 4, Dan the Man?
Speaking of The Fog, Carpenter's main theme that plays in the opening and the end, I think that it's so atmospheric and it's simple. I mean, like a lot of Carpenter's movement, it's super simple. But yet again, you see that kind of use. I guess I'm kind of like low-key neo-noir with that like digital sound a lot in scores. I really like it. And his is simplified, but it creates this kind of like haunting synth melody that takes place in the film. And I think it's not just perfect for the film, but I like to put it on when it's like actually stormy out. And I, like Paul said, if I'll be writing or if I'm, playing a game that really the audio isn't important to me, I'll put that on and it's perfect.
Nice. All right. And it was Trevor Rabin who did the score for National Treasure.
Rabin? Okay.
And what is your number 4, Paul the Man?
My number 4 is 528491, and that's Hans Zimmer in Inception. So during that time, it's going to sound weird. I probably shouldn't put this on blast, but I was experimenting with LSD.
Love it.
And reading Carlos Castaneda. And so this was the song I would use to kind of deep dive into my dream state, kind of meditate. So like that always brings me back to copying in my dreams and trying to control them, for a year or so. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, maybe not, but sure. Hey, listen, experience is experience, and I don't hate it. So My number 4 on my list is the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves theme. It's a great theme. Like, go listen to it if you haven't heard it in years, and I guarantee you've heard it within those years.
Yeah.
It's just truly fantastically done. I think it was Alan Silvestri who did it. I was kind of rushing through, but like it got me all emotional. I remember watching that movie in the theaters as a kid with my grandmother, and like I just got like tears came in the eye for it. So I was like, I'm throwing it on the list. So that's my number.
Remember
4.
that Bryan Adams song from it?
Yes. No, I said scored it.
Dominated the airwaves. Dominated.
Let's go on to our number 3. What you got for me, Dan?
Blade Runner, Vangelis, again with another digital. Blade Runner Blues, great track from that film. You know, the best part of a neo-noir soundtrack is the melancholy that is associated with some of these like more somber moments that are in their films. And I think that Blade Runner is a masterpiece on its own, but the soundtrack is something that doesn't get the same amount of love. And the score from it is just, it's so perfect. And I often will play it while students are like testing or something like that. I'll put it on and it like, I think it focuses people to do that. I don't know, controversial, but like, I think that like the emotions that are elicited from what Vangelis does from the beginning of that film to the end, it was tough for me to pick a track from it, but this was the one I think is the best. You know, it's the one where he's in his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you listen, I don't think that's controversial at all. Like, I mean, movie scores, you're supposed to want to put a vibe out, you know, in situations like that. I think it's a good thing. As long as you're not like vibing out with like anarchy. Paul, calm down. What's your number 3?
I need another number 3 now. No,
my number 3 is The Ice Dance by Danny Elfman.
This was an interesting choice, man.
Why?
Please tell me why. Because I didn't. I love it.
So Christmas is always a hard time for me. So this kind of, in a healthy way, kind of triggers my negative thoughts about Christmas time, but in a happy way. So it helps me just get out the tears without, I guess, being hateful on myself or getting too depressed. So it just helps me elicit that healthy emotion of getting negative thoughts out about Christmas, but in a happy way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome, man.
So if I need a good cry, I throw that on the shower and we're good.
2 people you guys have mentioned that I really wanted to put in my top 5 that didn't make it were Silvestri, and I wanted Silvestri from Back to the Future, and I wanted Elfman, and neither one made it. And I really surprised me because I own several Silvestri soundtracks. I own the soundtrack, and like I couldn't fit him in. It really disappointed me. I was like, wow, I like these that much better, and I do.
Yeah, honestly, I think it came down for me. Again, it was just a feeling. And Back to the Future, I almost omit it because it's like, it would dominate. And I wanted to kind of explore more with this. Okay. Like I know that's going to elicit a response, like an emotional response, because it means something to me. So I was like, I kind of want to experiment with this though. So I sort of avoided it.
Okay.
For this list, but it is amazing, and they're both amazing, Elfman and Silvestri for sure. But that's a great choice. I like that a lot. All right, both really good choices. I feel a little inferior with my next.
Get out of here.
It's a Scarface theme from Giorgio Moroder.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even like that movie. I like
really?
It's fine. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's like Fight Club. It's kind of like, I think it's overrated. It's like, all right, everybody just really loves it.
It's got to be De Palma's best film, though. Come on.
It is not De Palma's best film by far. And he learned so much more after that movie. Give the man some credit. But I will say this, and to your blasphemous ways, it's a cool movie, but I think that Spencer's Gifts, if anything, had the biggest reason for most millennials loving that movie is because they sold the goddamn posters and T-shirts.
Oh yeah,
and it made everybody look like a badass.
Every college dorm had it when I went to college. I know that.
I know.
That's a great pick though. Like, and that comes from that 80s like Miami synth scene too. Like, I love it.
It reminded me of watching it with my brother, and neither of us being in store for the chainsaw scene. We were far too young to watch it. So when it hit, it took me right back to that.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like, all right, that was very cool. So did not cry. It just had a good emotional response. But all right, what is? Oh, let me change the stupid thing.
I cried for all the songs on my list. I ain't even gonna lie to you guys.
What's number
Which one am I
2 on your list? Dan?
Number 2, I'm hitting back in Hans Zimmer. I know Paul already brought up Inception, but that wasn't the one I picked. I picked the time signature that plays at different time signatures depending on what level the dream's at. I think that it's brilliantly used in the movie to represent like actual events taking place in it. This was a toss-up though, because like I almost went with his Joker theme from The Dark Knight. Do you know that light bulb? It's the light bulb sound they have in that whine that happens at the beginning of the movie. Think about that sound probably once a week.
Nice.
Like it was so impactful for me in the theater because it set me off edge the second that movie started. You know, they're on the roof. It just dives you into that movie. They're on the rooftop and that light bulb sound happens. However, rather than like setting me on edge, the time track from Inception pulled me deeper into the film to the point where I was trying to figure out, I was like, wait, is that the same noise that they were just making in the previous instance of the dream? And then come to find out much later, obviously it was. And like, I think it's one of the most brilliant tracks that have ever been created.
Nice. You ain't wrong. What you got for me for number 2, Paul?
Well, we decided to switch spots. So this one is Death is the Road to Awe by Clinton Mansell from The Fountain. Yes.
Nice.
Great track, right?
Great fucking
great movie,
man.
great track. Yeah,
Oh my god, underrated. Not enough people have seen that.
You guys really like
with that movie.
Yeah, my God, don't do it. I think Paul, you and I have talked about this next one, but what do you prefer more, The Fountain or The Fall? I prefer The Fall.
Ooh, see, if I'm trying to make myself cry, it's gonna be The Fountain.
That's fair.
But if I want kind of a happy cry, I guess more of The Fall. But I'd say The Fountain. I've definitely watched The Fountain.
Put your hands together, double feature.
Yeah.
Oh my God, cry happy, cry sad. It'd be great.
God.
So that's a good one. That's a good one. You guys, some good deep choices. My next one made me tear up again, and that was the Amelie score.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh my God, watch that movie. It is beautiful.
I dated a girl in college. I wouldn't shut up about it, and so I instantly was like, "Oh, I'm never watching it."
I hate you.
That and Chocolat or Chocolat. I don't even know how it's pronounced. Those two, Amelie and Chocolat. She always tried to make me watch them. I'm not watching it.
I'm not crap.
I'm gonna go watch Blade Runner for the
Chocolat's
20th
good.
time.
That part.
Good movies, but they are for a base. Well, Amelie, watch Amelie. It's very the cinematography, everything gorgeous. I love that score. And it brings it's so beautiful. Just watch the movie. Stop thinking about your girlfriends in college. All right, number 1. Dan, what's your number 1?
And this is truly my favorite movement of any movie ever. Howard Shore's The Bridge of Khazad-dûm from The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship specifically. I saw it live, performed by an orchestra while the scene was playing like in the background. And like, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. I think that Howard Shore is the pinnacle of scores, especially that trilogy. There's the pinnacle of scores that exist in any movie anywhere. But it's a perfect track for exactly what's going on in the film at that moment.
It's hard to argue that they are great. There's a great score for those movies. That's a great pick.
I got it playing in my head right now too, and it's like it makes me want to go. I've listened to I listen to that soundtrack when I work out. Like
that's funny. My number 1, my number 1 was a big workout one for me. And I was sort of like got the yeah, let's go. But I gotta go do this show. And now I see sun's out, guns out over here, and I gotta go get working out.
I need to hit the gym. I got banned.
Oh Jesus! I don't even want to know. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is A Whisper of a Thrill by Thomas Newman from Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That one will instantly make me reminisce to, like, you say a high school crush, your first love, falling in love with your wife. For me, things like it just instantly just puts me in that euphoria of just remembering those moments where you're like, oh my God, like this is the person, and just cute moments. Yeah, I think they do a good job, and that's a great scene too. I love Meet Joe Black.
Solid choice. I do really like that movie. Very nice, gentlemen. Your number 1s are really good. I really appreciate them. Enjoyed them. Now I will say this: my number 1, I used to work out too. run on. If you guys could believe it, back in the day when I had working legs, I could run. Now I get on the treadmill, and this is a song I would run to, and it was a long song. The Gale from Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, that's the Mohicans.
by Dougie.
Good choice. I like that.
I absolutely love that. That sounds, and then I heard it again. Just listening to him, I was like, "Oh, I just need to go to the gym." It's like I gotta go do something. It is. It's something that really motivates you. Now, listen, are these my absolute top favorites? No, of course not. I mean,
Favorites different than best, though. Like,
well, I don't think this is best. No, the best were best of 2024. These are just our ones we love, and I put parameters on mine, but there's some solid ones. But like, I went with just my feel on this one. I had a great time. I love doing those. I love like listening to them or watching the movies again or the scene. Really gets you like motivated. That's why I like these top fives. They kind of keep me honest and keep me looking back at some fun things. And I appreciate you guys' lists this evening. So
appreciate you, Mick. That's a good list.
Thank you.
I just want to go watch Last Mohicans. I feel like here's a controversial question: is that Daniel Day-Lewis's best film?
Yes,
it's the role I like him in. Well, yeah, it's the role I like him in the most. I do like In the Name of the Father. He was great in that, and My Left Foot. He did one for, right? And it, like, he's done a lot of great roles, but his early ones are some of my favorites. What do you think? What you got?
Gangs of New York. Like,
no, I like There Will Be Blood. I'm not gonna lie.
I love that movie, Paul. I love that movie.
Him and Paul Dano.
They were great together.
I love that movie so much, but he became, so as a student of history, I spent an entire semester actually delving into that time period, the antebellum, like he became Butcher Bill. Like I did a whole thing on Butcher Bill. It was a whole 3-week research project. He became Butcher Bill. And like the part where he taps his knife on the fake guy and he's like, he gave me this. And he's like, I was like, there are a lot of things about that film that are whack because it combines 3 different historical time periods in the film. Mm-hmm. But his job in that film, it's hard to equal. Plus, you have the 2 greatest actors that I've ever watched in the same film. Leo and Butcher Bill, man. Like Daniel Day-Lewis and Leo, I think are the 2 greatest actors that have ever lived. And like, it's just they play off each other so well in the movie that like it's really hard to equal, in my opinion.
Very fair.
I'm just kidding. I mean, they're good.
That's your bonus on this episode of Top 5 Countdown movie scores we did. So if you're watching this as a clip later, thank you. Go check out the whole episode. We talked a lot more about movie scores. But before we move on, thank you for watching the clip if you are, but we're getting